The Avengers radio series, a cultural phenomenon in South Africa back in the 1970s. South Africa was a country with no national television service. It wasn't until 1976 that the country would get its first taste of television broadcasts. But before that, radio was the primary medium of entertainment and information for the masses. This was the context when The Avengers, a British spy-fi series, made its debut on South African radio and became a cultural phenomenon. The Avengers was a British television series that originally aired from 1961 to 1969. The show revolved around the adventures of John Steed, a suave and sophisticated secret agent, and his various female associates. The series was a unique blend of traditional spy thriller elements with science fiction and fantasy, which set it apart from other shows of its time. While the series was hugely popular in the UK and had also made a significant impact in the American markets, being one of the rare British series given a network transmission slot, it was virtually unknown in South Africa. This was primarily due to the lack of a national television service in the country until 1976. However, as a film series, The Avengers was able to gain some exposure in South Africa through film rentals. But it was the launch of the radio series that truly brought The Avengers to the masses in South Africa. Come and listen at www.myclassicradio.net. 21st Precinct, aka 21st Precinct and 21st Precinct, was a police drama broadcast on CBS Radio from July 7, 1953, to July 26, 1956. It was initially a summer replacement for My Friend Irma. The program was produced in cooperation with the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association of the City of New York and presented adaptations from true criminal records in New York. From the policeman's point of view. Historically, the 21st Precinct had been located near Gramercy Park in Manhattan, but in 1929 the department reorganized the precinct numbering, and the 21st designation was dropped from use. No such precinct existed during the show's run, nor does a 21st exist today. However, the fictional precinct's territory corresponds closely to that of the Upper East Side's 23rd Precinct as it has existed since 1929. Stanley Niss was the producer-writer-director. The role of Precinct Captain Frank Kennelly was played by Everett Sloan for the first 109 episodes and briefly in episode 135. During episode 109, Captain Frank Kennelly was promoted to Deputy Inspector and reassigned out of the 21st Precinct. He was replaced by Captain Cronin James Gregory, 1955-56, and Les Damon, 1956. Other cast regulars were Ken Lynch as Lieutenant Matt King, Harold Stone as Sergeant Waters, Jack Arissa as Sergeant Collins, and Santos Ortega as Lieutenant Gorman. The program's announcer began the program's opening each week. 21st Precinct. It's just lines on a map of the city of New York. Most of the 173,000 people wedged into the 9/10 of a square mile between Fifth Avenue and the East River wouldn't know, if you asked them, that they lived or worked in the 21st. Whether they know it or not, the security of their persons, their homes, and their property is the job of the men of the 21st. At that point the lead actor would complete the introduction. The 21st Precinct. 160 patrolmen, 11 sergeants and 4 lieutenants of whom I'm the boss. My name is Kennelly. Frank Kennelly. I'm captain in command of the 21st. Art Hanna, Bob Hill, and Hugh Holder were the program's announcers. The series was produced by John Ives. It was usually directed and written by Stanley Niss. Another source lists Niss as producer. Come and listen at www.myclassicradio.net.
Yes, it's the Amadette Show, transcribed in Hollywood and starring George Burns and Gracie Allen. With yours truly, Bill Goodwin, Steve Benadera, Doris Singleton, Hal March, Marvin Miller, Harry Lubin, and the Amadette Orchestra. For healthy laughter, it's George and Gracie. And for healthier teeth, for fewer cavities, it's Amadette toothpaste. George took Gracie to the ballet, and it's an evening he'll never forget. But he'd like to. To Gracie, it was a new and exciting experience, and she's still thrilled about it.
Oh, gee, everybody was there. Did you notice Bob Taylor and Barbara Stanley sitting in front of us?
Yeah, that Barbara Stanwyck certainly is gorgeous.
Oh, I'll say. Those actors really marry beautiful women, don't you, George?
Yes, that we do.
During intermission, there was some very exciting gossip in the powder room.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Harris said, I wonder why Sarah Treadwell didn't come to the ballet. So I said, well, maybe she had a fight with her husband. And she said, oh, not Sarah. And I said, well, I don't blame her if he's running around with another woman. And so she said, poor Sarah, who'll take care of their 5 children? And I said, well, not that no-good husband of hers.
Oh, that sounds real exciting.
Yes. It would be even more exciting if I knew who Sarah Treadwell was.
You don't know Sarah Treadwell?
I don't even know Mrs. Harris.
Interesting yarn. What did you think of the ballet?
Oh, I loved it. Although you dozed off a couple of times.
I ate too much dinner. Pickles were delicious.
But the dancers were so polite. They danced on their toes so they wouldn't wake you.
Well, to show my appreciation, I'll go backstage and teach them how to dance the Peabody.
Peabody? What's that?
He's a banjo player who's married to Sarah Treadwell.
Oh. You know, the last scene of the ballet disappointed me. Remember how that big, strong, handsome man in tights chased the beautiful ballerina?
Yeah?
He chased her around that stage like crazy. She ran and he ran. She jumped and he jumped. She flew and he flew. When he finally caught her, boom, down came the curtain. I wish he'd started chasing her 10 minutes sooner.
Well, we'll read about it in Luella Parsons' column. Honey, that was the idea of the ballet. When the fellow caught the girl, the show was over.
It's a good thing Bill Goodwin isn't a ballet dancer. The show would have been over in 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Bill is slowing up. Come in.
Hello, George.
Hello, Ralph. How are you? Gracie, you know Ralph Hanley. He makes out our income tax every year.
Oh, of course. How are you, Mr. Hanley?
Fine, thank you, Mrs. Burns.
George told me you were coming, so to help you, I figured out our income tax. You'll find it on the desk. The government owes us $6 million.
Mrs. Burns, how did you ever get such a figure?
Oh, no starches and plenty of exercise.
Lots of fresh air, too.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Hanley, how come we never got the $9 million I figured the government owed us last year?
They're waiting until next year, and then they'll send us the state of Texas. Ralph, have you had breakfast? Would you like Gracie to scramble some eggs?
Oh, please, George, we're out of eggs.
The grocer left a dozen yesterday.
I know, but I heard about a new thing called an egg shampoo, so I tried it. And when I shampooed the eggs, they broke.
Just fix us some coffee.
All right.
Well, Ralph, how's the tax look this year?
Oh, about the same as last. But I've been listening to you sing on the program, and we can deduct for that throat operation.
I didn't have a throat operation.
I know, but you're going to, aren't you?
Just make out the tax. When I need bad jokes, I'll send for my writer.
I was only kidding, George. By the way, I see you're getting your money from a new source this year.
Yeah, I'm still married to Gracie. Oh. You mean the sponsor, the new sponsor?
Yeah. How are they?
Oh, they're wonderful people.
I've been using that Amadent toothpaste, and it's great.
Well, thanks, Ralph.
George, if you'll give me the canceled checks and records, I'll get busy. But please, don't let Gracie help me this year. Last year, when I took her to have some papers notarized, the man asked her to identify herself. So she opened her compact, looked in the mirror, and said, "Yes, it's me, all right."
Well, I'll see that she doesn't bother. Come in.
Hello, George. Is Gracie here? I'd like to speak to her.
Gracie, Harry Morton wants to see you.
I'll be right out.
Harry, this is Ralph Hanley, my income tax man.
How do you do, Mr. Morton?
What do you want to see Gracie about, Harry?
Well, tomorrow's Blanche's birthday, George, and I don't know what to get her. I thought maybe a diamond ring or a new car. By the way, Mr. Hanley, is that deductible?
No, it isn't.
I don't know what to get her. I thought maybe a handkerchief or bobby pin.
Pipe cleaners would be nice.
Hello, Harry.
Hello, Gracie.
George, I fixed some coffee for you and Mr. Hanley. You'll find it on the stove.
Thanks.
And I thought you'd like something to go with the coffee, so I made you some tea.
Good. Now we can dunk. Come on, Ralph. Let's go in the den and get started on the snack.
Gracie, I'm trying to decide what to give Blanche for her birthday. Have you heard her mention anything she'd like?
No, but why don't you get her a green necklace to match the gold bracelet you gave her for Christmas?
Oh, she's got enough jewelry. Say, do you think it'd be all right if I gave Blanche a pet?
Why not? You married.
No, I mean something like a dog.
Oh, no, don't get a dog. I had one, and he couldn't even learn to run and fetch a stick. I threw that stick and brought it back between my teeth 100 times. That stupid dog just sat there and looked at me like I was crazy.
I wonder why. Yeah, you're right about the dog, Gracie. Perfume might be nice, or maybe a pretty nightgown.
Well, that's a good idea. Oh, I can just picture Blanche in a sheer black nightgown.
Me too. Well, there goes that idea. Think of something, Gracie.
Oh, I got it. A television set. My Uncle Fred just bought a beauty for $12,500.
$12,500 for a television set?
Well, that included the bar. That's what he really wanted.
Hey, I know what I'll get. Blanche has always wanted an alligator bag. I'll surprise her with that. I'll put it in a candy box so she won't guess what it is, and when she opens it up, she'll faint. Oh, this is a wonderful idea.
Oh, it's nothing. I've got a million of them.
I'll be running along.
George, Harry is leaving.
Hey, Harry. Before you go, the Flyers are giving a little sociable Friday night. Would you like to be my guest? There'll be some swell entertainment. Jolson, Groucho, Crosby, Hope, Betty, Cantor, Jethro.
Well, I'd love to, George, but I can't Friday. Spade Cooley is on television.
Spade Cooley, huh? I'll bring the Flyers to your house.
So long.
So long. Can you imagine a man being that stupid?
Isn't he a dope? Spade Cooley's on Saturday night.
Yeah, well, I better get back and help Ralph with the tax.
Oh, George, would you ask him how much a woman can deduct for a missing husband?
Who's missing?
Uncle Joe, Aunt Clara's husband. And if the government will allow her
I've
to
seen Aunt Clara. Joe isn't missing. He's hiding.
Oh, no, George, he's missing. You see, Uncle Joe's hobby was blowing glass. Every night he'd sit on the back porch blowing glass. And one night he blew... I did it again, huh? I thought... Well...
Let's take it again. Would you like to have me give you 2 beats?
No, I can... Oh, no, George, he's missing.
This is Uncle Joe.
Yes.
Yes.
You see, Uncle Joe's hobby was glass blowing.
Oh, he's the glass blower.
Every night he'd sit on the back porch blowing glass.
Yeah.
And one night he blew a bottle around himself.
He sat on the back porch and blew a bottle around himself?
And in the morning, the milkman took him away with the empties.
Gracie, you don't believe that story, do you?
Well, why not? Lots of people have back porches.
Oh, yes, I forgot that, yes.
Oh, and poor Aunt Clara had to support herself selling homemade bread.
Well, that's not easy.
Oh, Aunt Clara's a very smart businesswoman. She didn't sell her bread the day she made it. She kept it till the next day.
Why was that?
Well, that way it was day old bread and she could sell it cheaper.
Sounds right to me, isn't it, Sonny? Well, Ralph can't help Aunt Clara. He specializes in actors. He just finished Jack Benny's income tax yesterday. When Benny heard the bad news, he went down to Max Factor's and tore his hair out.
Do actors have special deductions, Judge?
Sure. For example, the other day, you bought stamps to answer my fan mail. That's deductible.
Ooh, that's 3 cents right there.
Wait a minute, 3 cents? You told me you spent $32.03. Explain that.
Well, you know how on the way to the post office you passed Bullock?
Yeah?
I didn't.
Look.
Excuse me, Mrs. Burns. I can't go on with your tax until you explain some of these expenses. Now, here's an item. $50 for 10 pogo sticks. Why did you buy 10?
That's all they had.
But, Mrs. Burns, what do you want with them?
Those sticks come in very handy in case you're attacked by a pogo.
George, where's the aspirin?
You'll find 2 bottles in the bottom drawer of the desk.
Thanks.
Gracie, just what is a pogo?
I don't know. But I couldn't tell him that. He might think I was dumb.
Now he thinks you're smart.
Hey, George, do you think our tax bill will be very high this year?
Yeah, but thank goodness for the community property law.
Community property law?
That's
What's
right.
that?
Well, it's a law that says that half of everything I've got is yours and half of everything you've got is mine.
Oh? Then how come I only get 1/4 of what we make?
Well, that's the way it works out. I'll show you now. Here in my hand, I've got $1 in change. Half of everything I've got is yours. Here's 50 cents.
Thank you.
Now, half of everything you've got is mine. How much have you got?
50 cents.
Give me a quarter. There, you see how it works?
Oh, I see how it works. Let's do that again, and this time I'll stop with $1.
Okay.
Now, half of everything I've got is yours. Here's 50 cents.
Thanks.
How does that second part go again?
Half of everything you've got is mine. How much have you got?
50 cents.
Give me a quarter. Thanks.
You were right, George. It comes out the same way each time.
Well, sure.
Now, you must get awfully discouraged being married to a woman who doesn't understand money.
Well, sometimes it comes in real handy.
This is Bill Goodwin, folks. Are you reducing tooth decay with Amident ammoniated toothpaste? Just think, till recently no toothpaste or powder offered you the hope of fewer cavities. Then the great news broke, a sensational discovery to reduce tooth decay. An ammoniated dentifrice, Amident. Magazines and newspapers spread the news. Dentists hailed the arrival of Amident and recommended it to patients. Have you bought Amident for your family? Are your children fighting tooth decay every time they brush their teeth? If not, if you're using today the same toothpaste you used a year ago, your toothpaste is not ammoniated. Your toothpaste can do no more to prevent cavities than it did last year. So please, don't delay. Insist on Amident. Amident toothpaste and Amident tooth powder are recommended by more dentists than any other dentifrice.
Say, George, I've been talking to Mr. Hanley about our income tax. I said, why does the government need so much money? And he said because the government has got a $3 billion deficit.
That's right.
Well, why don't they buy a cheaper one?
They like the one with the rear view mirror.
Oh.
See, the government needs our tax money to run the country. Part of it goes to pay the salaries of the president, the cabinet, the congressman.
George, do Republicans have to pay part of President Truman's salary?
Well, sure.
It's really rubbing it in, isn't it?
And the government needs money to run the army and the navy. Without soldiers and sailors, we wouldn't be safe.
I can see you've never been out with one.
And don't forget that our government is spending millions of dollars on European recovery. We send them food. That's called the ERP. And then
We ought to change that.
Change what?
ERP. Sounds like our food gives them indigestion.
I'll talk to Sarah Treadwell. And Mrs. Harris.
I'm sorry to interrupt again, George, but these items are driving me nuts. Mrs. Burns, what is this? One wave, $110.
$110? Gracie, who gave you that wave?
Muriel Roberts. And when I waved back, I drove into a telephone pole.
Anything else you want to know, Ralph?
Yeah, give me some more aspirin.
Now, what are we talking about?
Interesting stuff. The taxes.
Well, now I'll show you how the government can save a fortune. Do away with the mint.
Do away with the mint.
Sure. Why
Just do away with it.
Yes.
Yes.
Why print money? Why not buy it ready-made?
That's an idea.
We can buy it from China. I hear that money is very cheap.
Yes, we can get some in Macy's basement.
And another way our government can save money, stop printing stamps. We don't need them anyway. My sister Bessie mails letters every day and never uses a stamp.
Then they must be returned.
Well, that's the idea. Bessie's crazy about the postman.
I wish Bessie would get married. Yeah. Come in.
Hi, Burns.
Hello, Bill.
How are you, Bill? You still in love?
Oh, more than ever, Gracie. It was just a week ago today that I met Ann Nelson, so I went to buy her some flowers. And while I was standing there waiting for them, I realized that this was the only girl for me.
She really got you, huh?
Oh, man, when did you meet this florist?
You fell in love with the florist? It's a good thing you buy your cigarettes from a machine.
Bill, what happened to Anne?
Well, certain people said that I was interested in Ann just for her money.
Who said that?
Her banker when I checked her account.
So, Bill, do you mean to say that you walked into this florist shop and fell in love with a girl just like that?
Oh, no. There was some dialogue first. I said, hello, miss, I'd like to buy some flowers. And she said, roses are nice. And I said, fine. She said, how do you like the stems? And I said, gorgeous. And the rest of you is cute, too, and we were engaged.
Well, there's nothing like a nice long courtship.
See what a sweet girl, George. She gave me a carnation for my buttonhole.
Well, now, that's a silly trade. What can she do with your buttonhole?
Press it in a book.
Say, Bill,
Press it in a book.
Oh, I heard you. Bill, I'm going to ask the Mortons over for dinner tomorrow night. It's Blanche's birthday. How about you and your girl joining us?
Oh, we'd love to, Gracie.
Well, good. I'll phone Blanche.
By the way, Bill, what's your girl's name?
Mona Knox. It used to be Ethel Knox, but the gasoline company paid her to change it.
My first name used to be Asbestos, but they paid me off, too.
Now, boys, please, there's an odd phoning.
Oh, yes.
Hello? Hello, Blanche? This is Gracie. Would you and Harry like to come over to dinner tomorrow night to celebrate your birthday?
Oh, I'd love to. I'll ask Harry and call you back.
All right. Incidentally, I helped Harry decide on your present. You'll love it.
Oh, what is it, Gracie?
Oh, I can't tell you. It's a surprise.
Oh, please.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me guess. Is it a new stove?
Well, you're so close, I might as well tell you. It's an alligator bag.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm glad you know, Blanche. He's going to put it in the candy box, and I was scared to death you might eat it.
Yeah. Well, I'll call you back, Gracie.
Bye.
Goodbye. Harry, Gracie just invited us over there tomorrow night for my birthday dinner.
Oh, murder. I hope Gracie doesn't bake you a cake. Remember that soggy thing she baked for George's last birthday?
Now, Harry, it wasn't her fault George's cake was soggy.
No?
No. Had so many candles he couldn't blow them out. They had to turn the hose on them.
Why'd you stop exaggerating? George isn't as old as he looks.
He couldn't be.
I've got news for you. 18 years with Gracie and Butch Jenkins would look like that. Poor George is over there right now trying to figure out his income tax. Believe me, it would be a lot easier if it weren't for Gracie.
I'll say it would. He wouldn't have any. I don't see how that schnook ever tricked Gracie into marrying him.
He didn't trick her. She wanted to get married the worst way.
Well, she did.
Aren't we clever today?
Well, I don't care. I love Gracie. She's very sweet to give me a birthday dinner.
Yeah, I can't wait to get there. Last time I went over there to dinner, someone told Gracie that stewed chicken was the most tender. When I got there, George was trying to sober it up so he could kill it.
Well, anyway, her cooking is a lot better than Sugar Throat's entertaining. So help me. If he sings tomorrow night, I'll plug him with my new alligator bag.
Alligator, so Gracie told you. I should have known I couldn't trust her.
Well, it's really my fault, she told me. I put the idea into her head.
Blanche, putting an idea into her head is like putting a basketball into a thimble.
Oh, hush. I'll tell her we're coming.
Hello?
Gracie, this is Blanche. We'll be there for dinner tomorrow night.
Oh, good. We'll expect you, Blanche. Oh, what kind of mince do you like? Winter green or cloves?
Why?
I'm making hot mince pie.
We're on a diet, Gracie. See you tomorrow night. Goodbye.
Bye. George, where did Bill go?
This girl Mona's sitting out in the car. I told him to bring her in.
Oh, isn't it wonderful? At last, Bill is really in love.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't meet anybody on the way out to the car. What a guy. A new romance every week.
George, it's me again. Mrs. Burns, can you explain this item? One rubber boot for left foot, $10.
Well, what do you want explained?
Why did you buy it?
It was a bargain. I got it for half what a pair would cost.
But why did you buy one left boot?
I've only got one left foot.
Satisfied, Ralph?
Oh, sure. I'll go in and finish the income tax.
Income tax?
Yeah.
Hey, Ralph, you're going in the closet.
Oh, pardon me.
I'm a little worried about that guy. Did you notice that dazed look on his face?
Oh, that's nothing. Almost everybody I talk to has that look.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm still...
George and Gracie, I'd like you to meet my fiancée, Miss Knox. Mona, this is Mr. and Mrs. Burns.
Oh, how do you do?
Bill told me all about you. He says you've been working for him for almost 10 years.
That's what Bill told you.
Yes. He says you're a wonderful announcer.
Bill, this may come as a surprise, but I'm thinking very seriously of leaving you.
George, Gracie, come here a minute. Play along with me. I'm trying to make an impression.
Oh, okay. Mona, we're all going to play along with Bill.
Gracie, Mona is not in on this.
Oh, forget it, Mona.
As I was saying, Mona, George has been announcing for me for 10 years. Is that right, boy?
Yes, sir.
Boy.
I say funny things. I'm a comedian.
And what do you do, Mrs. Burns?
Oh, I help my husband. He's one of the greatest announcers in the radio business. Has a beautiful voice.
Oh, I'd love to hear it. Won't you show me what you do, Mr. Burns?
Oh, he'll be glad to. Listen. Are you reducing tooth decay with Amident ammoniated tooth? Take a drug.
Paste.
Amident tastes delightful. It leaves your teeth bright and sparkling. Your mouth feeling fresh and clean. Amident is a grand wake-up tooth.
Paste.
Amident is recommended by more dentists than any other dentifrice. Give your entire family the protection of Amident ammoniated tooth.
Would somebody hand me a glass of water, please? Here. Paste.
Okay, now, George, that's enough. Mona, even if it means losing you, I've got to tell the truth. George isn't the announcer. Amident's a great product, and they have the world's greatest announcer to talk about it. But I was just too modest to tell you it was me.
Yes, Mona, he's a real shy boy.
Mr. Burns, if you're not the announcer, what do you do?
Oh, sit down and show us, Sugar Throat.
And if I call you Buttercup, the dandelions might eat you up. So buy a ring and change your name to mine.
That's what I do.
Oh, you're the sound effects man.
No, I'm the script girl.
I've got another item here, Mrs. Burns.
Folks, I want you to meet Mr. Hanley.
How do you do, Mr. Hanley?
Oh, I'll be right in, Ralph. See you tomorrow night, Bill. And we're having the same dinner we had the last time you were here. So will you stop by the Brown Derby and ask them to send over a bottle of bourbon?
Stewed chicken again, huh?
Well, excuse me, I'll go in and see Ralph.
Hey, George, who's the guy with the loose shingle? One of Gracie's relatives?
Yeah, he's our tax man. He's trying to figure out Gracie's check stubs.
Oh, well, that explains it. Come on, Mona. So long, George.
Bye. 4 years with the Pee Wee Quartet, and she calls me a sound effects man.
I love to call you Rose, dear, but roses fade away. Roses die when winter time is spent. I love to call you Daisy. Oh, Daisy's oh, yeah.
I don't think Ralph Hanley should do our test. He's too nervous. You know, he asked me why I bought 1,000 ping pong balls, and when I told him, he seemed upset.
Well, why did you buy them?
Well, I use them instead of mothballs. They don't smell up the closet.
What, they don't kill anymore?
Oh, yes, they do. When the moths bite into them, there's nothing there, and they starve to death.
Don't let anybody steal this idea from you.
I'll get it.
Hello?
George, this is Harry Morton. I'm coming over to help you with your income tax.
Harry, I've got a tax man.
You have one. He just jumped out your window and he's running down the street.
Thanks, Harry. Gracie, come over here to the window. Look at Ralph Hanley running down the street.
Mine's flying, isn't it?
Yes. And do you know why?
Oh, sure. He's got to get that tax to Washington by March 15th.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Burns and Gracie return in just a moment. Join us again next Wednesday when we'll all be back. George Burns, Gracie Allen, Harry Lubin and the Amident Orchestra, and yours truly, Bill Goodwin. Brought to you by the makers of Amident, the ammoniated toothpaste and tooth powder. Recommended by more dentists than any other dentifrice. The George Burns and Gracie Allen program was transcribed in Hollywood